Okay, next we have a session with our guests, Visa. If Matt and Betty would like to come up, that would be fantastic. And I'll stop my thing from...
Congratulations, Tony, on so many exciting product releases. Do you finally get your bonus check? Oh, nice couch.
Jealous.
So much space.
It's been a great year. A ton of work. I'm very excited to be focused more on now the kind of go-to-market of these products and services, and not have to be as focused on the initial build. I mean, there'll be incremental builds always, but an improvement constantly. But the big mountain has been climbed. I've known Betty and Matt both for a while now. They both work for Visa. I used to work for Visa too, for the people who don't know that. And I've asked them to come and talk about payments and what they think about payments, in agriculture in general. And so I have some questions that I've prepared. So Betty, I'm gonna first ask you if you could introduce yourself and tell the group about your payments experience and what you currently do for Visa.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Betty, and I'm part of Visa Commercial Solutions, which is the part of the organization that is focused on growing B2B payment volumes. And I especially focus on vertical strategy. And so agriculture, along with some other industries, are ones that we're focusing on. And those are the industries that have a lot of payment friction, that are accelerating digital adoption, where access to working capital is very critical. And so, we are looking to partner with very innovative, vertically aligned fintech partners like Bushel that's really trying to solve industry-specific solutions. And we want to find ways to tailor our Visa products across a range of different solutions to be able to solve real-world problems across the industry. So that's my role at Visa. Prior to Visa, I was in consulting, and I consulted multinational corporations around their corporate treasury practices, helping them leverage technology to improve their cash and liquidity management. So there's some intersection there with my previous experience. But my agriculture connection actually was from my early career where I worked at Cargill. And Cargill had a subsidiary that did commodities futures trading. And so spent my early career on the trading pits of the Chicago Board of Trade. And now I'm full circle back focusing on agriculture at Visa.
Awesome. Matt Cherry, same question to you, and would love any insight you'd like to give into your deep experience in the payments industry, how you see things today here in ag.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my connection to ag is, again, somewhat personal. A lot of family history in farming. Still have a brother-in-law and nephew farming out in western Minnesota. Again, on a personal note, went to a Minnesota guy, St. John's University, played for legendary coach John Gallardi, so catch me later. I got some good stories for you. On the business side, 30 years in payments. First decade, working for a lot of the big banks and processors. Second decade, had my own ISO payment business. And then the last 11 years now with Visa, kind of heading up their tech partner program, where I've had the opportunity to work with Bushel and hundreds of other partners like them across dozens of specialty sectors. As far as the the payments journey, again, it's just been a 30-year, very interesting to see how things have changed. From just a very heavy manual cash and check business 30 plus years ago, really to the introduction of a electronic credit card terminal, which gave you the convenience and security of accepting payments and deposit directly to your account, to now the fully integrated payment experience that companies like Bushel offer for their clients, where you get all the convenience and all the benefits of payments, but fully syncing with your POS and your ERP. And again, just a better overall experience and much more efficient.
Cool, thank you. Okay, so question to which either of you would like to take this. we'll be linking our Lender Connect partners' lines of credit to the Bushel Gold Visa debit card, allowing a grower to spend their credit line anywhere Visa is accepted. Why would the people at this conference care about that?
Well, I'm personally very excited about this new capability because I think this is a great way of illustrating how Visa can tailor our solutions to, along with a partner like Bushel, to address some real-world challenges and present opportunities. I think leveraging a traditional Visa debit card with the lines of credit that growers get from their ag lenders is going to increase their purchasing power because they'll be able to more seamlessly and have a better customer experience being able to draw down on the lines of credit and then being able to use that to spend on all of their input purchases. And so I think that feature and the end customer experience is going to be, I think, very important for the growers because it takes a lot of the friction out, especially since many of them are still using checks for input purchases, right? And so I think for the farmer, they get the benefit of using card anywhere Visa is accepted. They get the 1% cash back and rebates. Right. And what we found is that when we reduce payment friction by card, customers generally will spend more and buy larger purchases. So I think that's a great benefit to the retailers here in the room. But another benefit to the retailers specifically is that using card will accelerate your days sales outstanding on accounts receivables, and we've done external research that has found that for merchants and suppliers that accept card, their average DSO is generally 15 days versus 45 days via ACH or check. And so that's like 30 days of additional cash flow you have available that's accelerated. And so that's definitely a benefit for the retailers in the room. But you also get to leverage the security, robust security and fraud protection capabilities of the Visa network and the security and the trust factor of using the Visa network. And so those are all the key benefits of using the debit card in addition with Lender Connect.
Thank you. That's pretty comprehensive. I also think there's a real interest rate arbitrage there for the for the farmer as well. Obviously with that kind of product. So we're excited about that. Matt, since you're kind of the acquiring side here of person on the stage. I wanted your opinion on this. Ag-related card spending is very low compared to most industries, probably 2 to 3% from Tony's own research. Over your career, what other industries have you seen more aggressively adopt card payments, and what did it do for those industries?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously there's lots of, as I mentioned earlier, lots of specialized sectors out there. Everybody kind of moves at their own pace. And again, the introduction of technology and solutions like what Bushel offers just definitely helps accelerate the acceptance of payments. Again, working with so many partners across so many of these sectors, such as healthcare, government, education, religious and charitable giving. They all kind of came along at a little bit slower pace. But I think there was a pivot point somewhere along the way, and again, a lot of it had to do with the technology partners making acceptance easier for them, and then naturally they just saw the benefits of the convenience, the security, the operational efficiencies, the improved cash flow, sales growth, expanded customer opportunities. Whether it's local or regional or national or global, as you think about like e-commerce, and it was just transformational for most of those businesses. And again, I think now that when you go to want to pay in the majority of those industries, it's readily available. It's a better experience, and again we see the potential there for the ag sector as well, and we're happy to support Bushel in that journey.
When we first when we first stood up our card processing, our acquiring endpoint, it was a little slow to take off, and it picked up a lot after we implemented a suggestion that you guys actually made. At your guys' suggestion, we changed our card acceptance platform to allow a customer, meaning a retailer, to surcharge or not surcharge the fee based on the age of the invoice. And that's proven to, like if I look at our card acceptance volume, I mean, it was sort of like this, and now it's kind of going like this. So that is good across a lot of customers. So we appreciate that suggestion. Are there any other card acceptance best practices that come to mind, you two, that are other things that perhaps we could think about?
Well, ideally, we don't want the retailers and merchants to surcharge. So that would be one best practice I wish would be more common. But I think part of it is just educating folks on the benefits of card acceptance. I mean, I think the number one hurdle we always face in trying to get merchants and retailers to accept card is the cost of card acceptance. But we've done a study, and I don't know if you have the clicker, Tony, but the second slide has some key important stats from this study that we did. Sorry, the next one. So, in addition to not surcharging based on the payment terms, we've seen definitely for suppliers that make a clear policy with their buyers that if they pay by card on invoice date or earlier by 15, they could get a discount, a 2% discount. That's one common practice, is just to have a clear policy of having a different payment term for a card versus ACH or check. By card, you get discount if you pay by 15 days versus like traditional 30-day term for ACH or check. But we've independently done a study with Forrester just to survey 200 merchants in the U.S. just to understand what is the cost of acceptance for them in card. And we did find some interesting statistics. With the cost of card stacked against the net benefits in total, the net benefit is actually positive of 420 basis points per transaction. And what drives that benefit are some of the things I've already mentioned. The decrease in day sales outstanding, like the accelerated cash that you get in your pocket by using card, and also making card-specific policy payment terms. Process and efficiency. I've heard many people throughout the day try to dissuade folks from using checks. There's a lot of process inefficiencies with cutting checks, processing checks, dealing with fraud related to checks. And so through the survey, we found that those that accepted card saw 90% improvement in their process efficiency. We've seen increased gross margin due to the fact that many merchants who reported increased or higher sales and improvement in their net promoter score when they accept card.
Right.
So when you factor a lot of these in, the actual net to the merchant at the end is actually a net benefit, not a cost. And so that's part of what we want to share more and educate folks on, because there are a lot of benefits that are hidden, not quite as visible to everyone.
Yeah, I always think too, like the cost, it's a little bit of a sticker shock thing on the cost of acceptance, because it's, it's this explicit kind of cost, but there are these sort of hidden costs. Like for example, you have an accounts receivable person, right? And there's a lot of cost in that, and things get lost in the mail, and there's a lot of other costs. I mean, that fee, does pay for a lot of things like card ubiquity, and the issuers do put in a lot of work marketing them, and they need to be paid for that. So. I agree with everything you've just kind of laid out. That's been my experience as well. Okay, how are we doing on time? We have a minute left, so we have one more question. Let me ask you guys this. How does Visa feel about the prospects of commercial card programs in general versus consumer programs in the United States?
We're very bullish on the growth of commercial B2B volume because, in the consumer world, 45% of consumer spend is done on card, but in the business world, less than 5% of the volume globally is on card. And so we think there's a lot of untapped opportunity. I mean, certainly we don't think we're going to capture all of that on card, but I think there is even just a slight increase in percentage will, yield a lot of benefit and unlock a lot of value. So that's why we're focused on B2B, but also, deepening our penetration of certain industry verticals so that we understand the industry challenges and nuances and know how to tailor our solutions to address the specific friction points that exist in industries. And we're also innovating in certain verticals. In our LATAM region, we actually invested in a startup that is the first platform that tokenizes commodities and creates a commodities-linked stablecoin that we've then linked a card to so that farmers can actually, when they store their grain, they can get that tokenized and then be able to spend against that using stablecoin. So there's a lot of innovation, a lot of interesting things that we're doing in the B2B space.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I thank you both for your time and thank you for being sponsors for the show.
Thank you for
I really
having us.
appreciate it. I really appreciate all the support. Bushel gets a lot of support from these guys, so I really appreciate it. So let's give them a round of applause.
Yeah, appreciate the partnership.
Yep. Okay.